The 7th edition of the European Development Days are concentrating on 3 key themes: sustainable agriculture, food security and resilience, the private sector and development, and empowering people for inclusive growth. As delegates and VIP guests arrived, everyone seemed aware of the challenges ahead.
The European Development Days have established themselves as a place where the movers and shakers of the development world gather to exchange views and share ideas.
I believe international cooperation is not simply about money, about investing in help and change. It's also about values, about what we are.
Pour nombre de pays africains, l'Europe et ses pays membres sont des partenaires majeurs, des partenaires privilégiés dans l'appui à la réalisation des objectifs du millénaire pour le développement.
Queremos inscrever palavras de gratidão à União Europeia e a outros parceiros de desenvolvimento pelo apoio multiforme que nos têm concedido. São recursos que em muito contribuem para cristalizar o nosso compromisso com a realização dos conceitos de redistribuição de riqueza e desenvolvimento inclusivo.
Nous avons un défi commun, fort de nos affinités, de notre proximité historique et géographique. Comment bâtir un pont d'opportunités entre l'Europe et l'Afrique?
Αποτέλεσμα αυτού είναι ότι σήμερα αρκετοί Ευρωπαίοι στέκονται στην ουρά για μια μερίδα φαγητού. Η επιβίωση τους αποτελεί καθημερινή αγωνία εξαιτίας του κοινωνικού αποκλεισμού και της εξαθλίωσης. Θα πρέπει να διδαχτούμε από τέτοια λάθη και να συμβάλλουμε ώστε να τερματιστεί η επιβολή παρόμοιων μοντέλων οικονομικής ανάπτυξης στα υποανάπτυξη κράτη.
As delegates got down to the nuts and bolts of debate, European Commission President José Manuel Barroso met with many of the world leaders present in Brussels.
So challenging all the time, though.
This morning session discussed building more resilience into future development policy.
But it's not about saving money, it's really to doing our job more properly and more for the benefit of the people that we are trying to support.
We live in a world where disasters are more frequent and they are more severe. And usually when they hit, it is the most vulnerable people that pay the highest price.
Nous allons diminuer l'envoi de surplus agricoles qui viennent du Nord et qui parfois contribuent à détruire ce qui restait de capacité des producteurs agricoles locaux à fournir les marchés locaux.
Aid provisions can't be only obsession. It's not only hearts that you need, you also need your minds into it, because the money is never enough. So I think it's very important to reflect how to achieve the most better results in supporting poor people with minimum financial means.
In this project lab, delegates looked at the roots of democracy and sustainable development.
The European Union wishes to move to a more strategic engagement with civil society. And the scope, by the way, of the communication is global. It is not just developing countries, it's also the neighborhood and the enlargement countries.
This session looked at the plight of the millions of working poor in the world's informal economies.
The informal workforce is everywhere. It's on the street and in open spaces. The informal workers are in the fields, pastures, and forests of the rural areas. A lot of them are in hotels, restaurants, and offices, small workshops, unregulated factories, and quite a few working from their own homes.
In India, 92% of workers are in the informal economy. So the question is, how do you save the workers from exploitation? How can they become more secure in their work, in their income? And I think that is the direction in which we are going.
And of course, delegates also found time to network.
I think the AU-DVD is a good platform for me to bring out the issues of youth and unemployment that are facing most youths in my community, especially the girls. And it also makes me to have the potentials also to gain so many things so that when I go back at home I may be able to implement it at local levels.
The main goal is to influence and talk to policymakers and learn something from this. Yeah.
J'ai décidé de participer parce que l'Europe, d'abord, est une excellente plateforme pour, je dirais, échanger sur des idées, sur les grandes tendances et sur les solutions sur le monde de demain et notamment sur les questions de développement. Et aujourd'hui, nous-mêmes jouons un rôle important à accompagner la transformation des économies africaines.
This session discussed ways of getting the private sector on board for development projects.
At the end of the day, you have to ensure that money comes in for the project and the risk coverage over the period of time. What I have seen out of projects which we try to get off the ground is that you have a lot of pre-qualification parameters you have to fulfill. By the time you then finally get the project awarded, there is like this all hype gone, and then with the execution at the end of the day, you start struggling.
And the day ended with a very special birthday party to celebrate 20 years of the EU's humanitarian aid office, ECHO.
We have, just last year alone, touched the lives of 150 million people. Over our existence, we have been on the front line in 140 countries.